Good afternoon. My name is Mike Spector. I'm extremely pleased to welcome you to Marquette Law School and this exciting program. My friend, Dr. Jeanette Mitchell, will tell you about our co-host, Partnership for Public Schools in Milwaukee, Inc., and introduce our panelists in just a few moments. But before she does, let me briefly explain the law school's role in today's event. The primary purposes of Marquette Law School continue to be the education and credentialing of law students and research regarding the law. At the same time, thanks to the initiative of Dean Joseph Kearney, and Joe, why don't you stand up? The school seeks increasing engagement with the outside world, and especially in my case, the greater Milwaukee area, on public policy issues. The Dean's specific directive to me, as a Bowdoin visiting professor in 2010, is to bring expert opinion, discussions of best practices, fresh ideas, and evidence-based recommendations to Milwaukee area citizens regarding MPS. Although the law school is a convener and a neutral, rather than an advocate for any particular position or point of view, it believes that more facts and ideas relevant to MPS decision-making are made available to the community, the better will be those decisions, and the better will be MPS educational outcomes, attendance rates, graduation rates, preparation for work or higher education, and student self-sufficiency. Given our focus on MPS, I'm especially pleased to take just a moment to welcome first the current MPS Superintendent, Bill Andrikopoulos. Bill, why don't you stand up for a minute? And his successor beginning July 1, 2010, Dr. Greg Thornton. Although neither Mr. Andrikopoulos or Dr. Thornton will participate tonight, I'm very pleased that both are with us and will be able to stay throughout this program to hear the words of wisdom from our panelists. Now we will hear from Jeanette.
That's funny. You like that, Grace?
All right, thank you very much, Mike. We are just really pleased to partner with Marquette University Law School to present the forum, this first forum here that we are sponsoring tonight. The Partnership for Public Schools in Milwaukee is a new nonprofit here in Milwaukee. We are in our organizational stage, and we are dedicated solely to the betterment, improvement, change, and sustainability of public schools. We're established with support from the Milwaukee Fund for Education Improvement, and we're working to create opportunities like we have here tonight for broad-based community dialogue around the concepts and strategies that will itch towards school reform and school betterment. We are really committed to identify what we call best practices through hearing from communities, not only here in Milwaukee, but hearing from other communities nationwide that can contribute to the improvement of public schools here in Milwaukee. So that's what we're about, and we just are really pleased, as this is our first forum that we're hosting, to co-host this with Marquette Law School. And let me just take a moment to introduce our wonderful guest speakers tonight, and some of them, I've had an opportunity to know in various, in fact, I think everybody I've had an opportunity to know from my time on the school board. So it's really, we're very, very pleased for that. First, at the end, we have Dr. Robert Peterkin, and he was MPS Superintendent from 1988 to 91, and you have that. He is now at Harvard University. He has a very long title, and I'm just going to simply say he has been training urban superintendents around the country while he's been at Harvard, and he's on the verge of retiring, and they won't let him retire because now they're calling him around the country. So, Bob Peterkin. And of course, no stranger to us, Dr. Howard Fuller, who we've known not only as a superintendent in Milwaukee, but as a lot of things in Milwaukee. Oh, I didn't quite mean it like that, Howard. But we all know that Howard's passion around education and education for black children is unparalleled, and he is dedicated to be here tonight, and even under some personal things that are going on in his life. And he has been here tonight to talk about, to provide this advice to the new superintendent. And then we have Barbara Horton, who was acting superintendent in 1997. And school director, she was on the board. Imagine that, after leaving the, she served on the school board from 2002 to 2007. And Barbara is executive director of Darrell Lynn Hines College Preparatory Academy of Excellence here in Milwaukee. And then Spence Korte, Dr. Spence Korte, who is, all he told me, he said, just say I'm retired. And he said, and I want you to know I'm doing you a favor to come out of my retirement. So, you know, Spence, of course, was superintendent from 1999 to 2002, and he has really been volunteering in education activities around the city. So that'll be our panel for tonight. And moderating our panel is, again, someone who's not a stranger to us, Mike Gousha, who has been tantalizing us with his interviews on television, live, whatever. So we're just really pleased to have him here to do what we call an in-depth questioning of our panelists. But you know, Mike has a really long history in education. His father, Dr. Richard Gousha, was superintendent of Milwaukee Public Schools. So he has had a dedication to education for a very, very long time. So, Mike?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Barbara, and good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for coming tonight. It's great to see this level of interest in a discussion of this kind. We are very pleased to welcome you to Marquette University Law School. There is so much to talk about tonight, and I thought I would begin by asking our panelists, who have all now had the advantage of time to sit back and think about their tenure and to think about what happened, what didn't happen, their hopes, their dreams. I'd like to ask them about the lessons learned, because tonight in our midst we have the soon-to-be superintendent, Dr. Thornton, with us. And I thought, why not begin with some lessons learned for the new guy in town? And I thought, since Dr. Peterkin traveled the furthest, I thought we would begin down there. Dr. Peterkin.
Thanks. Thank you, and good to see so many of you. Again, good to be back in Milwaukee. Greg, you can feel free to ignore anything that I say, but let me try a few things. I'd also like to share this podium with Dr. Deborah McGriff, since she was the deputy superintendent during my time. And was responsible for anything that did not work. So, what I've learned here at MPS, and what I've learned since, is that we have a very hard time focusing. In this city, when I was here, and MPS is a permanent Google on my computer, so I think I keep up a little bit. We have a tendency to avoid teaching and learning. We have a tendency to have conversations about a lot of things. This is a town that loves politics as a blood sport. It loves to talk about the issues of governance, which I think you've gone through recently. But when it comes to talking about improving the teaching and learning in classrooms, classroom by classroom, school by school, every day for every child, we tend as a community to sort of back off and to pay attention to other things, as if that was going to change what happens between a teacher and a child and the content of the classroom. The second thing I learned is, although there was a lot of protest about the pace at which I, the board, Deborah, teachers, and others pursued school reform here, we should have done it twice as much, twice as fast, and twice as deep. Culture doesn't change easily. The changes that are needed for children, not just in Milwaukee, around the nation, are quite serious, and to take and waste any time around conversations about all the stuff that happens around schools is a disastrous waste of time. So I wish really that we had bore down harder, deeper, and faster in trying to change things in Milwaukee Public Schools.